Good afternoon, my math babies. Today is Thursday, March 26th. If y'all are like me, y'all are having trouble keeping up with what day it is. I know I am. I can't remember. So I have to look at the calendar every time. I hope that y'all are still safe and taking care of yourself. It's been an adventure here at the Mesuch house. I think Mr. Mesuch is about to start being locked up at the plants. Stephen has a rash from something he just developed an allergy to, and we can't figure it out. So it's just been fun here at my house. I miss y'all. I miss your stories. I miss your smiles. I miss your laughs. Be glad when we're all back together and things are to normal. But what we're going to be doing today, we're still graphing, solving systems. But if you look at the problem that I've been showing y'all, you can see that it's not set up in slope-intercept form. It is just in regular standard form. So what we're going to do is we have to get y by itself. So if I look at the first one right here, and I have 5x plus y equals 4, well, I want this y by itself. So we've been moving variables across the equal sign. We know how to do that. So if I want y by itself, I am going to have to move that 5x. Well, if I'm going to move a positive 5x, the way I'm going to move it is by subtracting 5x. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And so that is going to cancel that 5x, and it's going to leave me just with my y. And it's going to be negative 5x plus 4, which brings it right back into that y is equal to mx plus b. And so I can go ahead and I can find my b, which is this 4 right here. Oops, sorry, y'all. So I know I'm going to have a point at 0, 4. And my slope is 1, because if you look, there's no number with, my slope's not 1. My slope's negative 5. Sorry, y'all. My slope's negative 5 because I have that negative 5 with my x. And so that means it's negative 5 over 1, because when we know when we have a whole number, it's over 1. So negative means I'm moving down. So I'm going to be moving down 5 and right 1 for this one. So nothing new. The only thing different that we did today than what we were doing all week so far is we just had to move that 5x. We just had to get that y by itself. And we can do that. We've been moving variables when we were solving equations with variables on both sides. So we know how to do that. So just kind of taking a skill we already knew and combining it with another skill we already knew. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put a point at 0, 4. And I'm going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. And I'm going to put my point right there. And I'm going to put my phone down so I can draw my line. Okay. And so that's that line. Well, then I'll look at the next equation, and I have x minus y is equal to 2. Well, I want to get this y by itself. Remember, you have to keep the sign in front of it. This is a positive x, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. And I'm going to get negative y is equal to negative x plus 2. And we can't have that negative y like that. It has to be positive y equals. And so we know that if we have a negative y, what that means is we have a negative 1 in front of it. Some people choose to just think about it as, okay, well, everything, the sign for everything has to change. I'm just going to change all my signs, and they just remember that step. Some people like to actually see the divide by negative 1. And so those negatives would cancel out, and you'd be left with y equals. A negative, this is like a negative 1 in front of that 1. So negative 1 divided by negative 1 would be positive 1, so this would just be 1x. And then a positive 2 divided by a negative 1 would be negative 2. So I would have my b is equal to negative 2. So I know I'm going to have a point at 0, negative 2. And then my slope right here is 1. And so I'm going to be moving up 1 and right 1. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put a point at negative 2. And I'm going to go up 1, right 1. And you can see we already have our point because that's where we had put our second point for the other line. But let me go ahead and draw my line to show the intersection real quick. Okay. And so there's my answer right there. So my answer, let me come up here. My solution is 1, -1. So I'm going to plug in. 5 times 1 is 5, plus -1 for that y would give me 4. So that works. 1 minus -1, well, if I'm doing minus -1, that's going to make it a plus. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And so that one's correct. Okay? So let's go to number 12. And number 12, or the next one, I have x minus 4y is equal to -4. So I know I want to keep this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move that x. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. And I am going to get -4y is equal to -x minus 4. And I need to get the y by itself, so I'm going to divide everything by -4. And I know that there's a 1 right here, so this is going to be y equals. I have a negative divided by a negative, so that's going to make a positive. I can't divide 1 by 4, and so I'm going to do that thing that we were doing where we just pull the fraction out. So this is going to be 1/4 x. You don't want to change it to 0.25 because then you can't count your slope. So if you get one where you can't divide it, we just pull that fraction out. And then a negative divided by a negative, that's going to give me a positive, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So this one in slope-intercept form is y is equal to 1/4 x plus 1. So my b is 1, so I'm going to have a point at 0, 1. My slope is 1/4, so I know I'm moving up 1, right 4 because it's a positive. Okay, so I'm going to put a point at 0, 1. I'm going to move up 1 and right 4. And I'm going to go ahead and I am going to draw my line. So I'm going to put my phone down real quick. Okay, so there's my line. And then we're going to do the next one. And I have 5x minus 4y is equal to 12. Whoops. It's not as easy to write and hold a phone and all that stuff. Okay, so I know I need to get this y by itself, so I'm going to move 5x. So to move a 5x, you subtract 5x from both sides. And you get -4y is equal to -5x plus 12. And then I need to divide by that -4 every single piece. That's going to cancel, and I'm going to be left with y is equal to, nothing's changed, I still break pencil lead like crazy. A negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive, and I can pull out that 5/4. Goodness gracious. My paper won't be still. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so that's 5/4 x. And then a positive divided by a negative is going to give me a negative, and that's going to be -3. So this one would work out to be y. Ooh, that's nasty handwriting. Y is equal to 5/4 x minus 3. So my b is -3. So I'm going to have a point at 0, -3. And my slope is 5/4. So I'm going to be moving up 5 and right 4. Okay? And so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put a point at -3, at 0, -3. I am going to move up 5 and over 4. And you can see there's going to be the point that they're going to intersect is right there. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1, 2, 3, 4. So they are going to intersect at this point, but let me go ahead and draw my line. Okay, so my solution is 4, 2. So if I do 4 minus 4 times 2, I'd have to do that first, so that'd be 4 minus 8. Well, if I start with 4 and I take away 8, I'm taking away more than I have, so that's a negative, and 8 minus 4 is 4, so that would be correct. 5 times 4 is 20, minus 4 times 2 is 8. 20 minus 8 is 12, so it works, so my solution is correct. And so that's what we're doing for today, going from standard form into slope-intercept form so we can graph and solve these systems. Starting next week on Tuesdays, there are going to be packets that you can pick up, review packets, if your parents would like to. They're going to be out in front of the school. I'll send a reminder of the times because I'm not really sure right now. But if you're interested in that, you can go by and pick up a packet. Miss Carter and I are working on those. Once again, I miss y'all. Laughed and I posted on Facebook, I'm saving a fortune on perfume and makeup and hair product. That's why one of the reasons I don't let y'all see what I look like, because yeah, I'm very much quarantine looking right now. So I miss y'all. I'm also saving on nails. Y'all can see I don't have nails right now. Very strange for me because I always have them. I'll be glad to see my nail girl again. I love y'all. I miss y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.